Slavery played an important role in the ancient society and economy, but it was an abusive and degrading institution. Their living conditions were brutal and their lives short. Slaves were considered property and had no legal personhood. Many slaves were acquired through warfare. Many captives were either brought back as war booty or sold to traders. Ancient sources cite thousands of such slaves captured in each war. Slaves were often sold at public auctions, in slave markets, or sometimes by private sale. Unlike citizens, slaves could be subjected to corporal punishment, exploitation, and torture. These slaves helped build entire ancient civilizations. Slaves worked in a wide range of occupations that can be divided into 5 categories: household, imperial, urban crafts and services, agriculture, and mining. Slavery was found in the ancient Roman Empire, the Greek civilization, Africa, and the Egyptian civilization. Slavery in Rome was not based on race. Slaves were brought from all over the Europe and Mediterranean. Roman slaves could also be freed. Some freed men became powerful, while others became wealthy. Many had important roles in the government. A freed man who became rich and influential might still be looked down on by the aristocracy as vulgar. The legal status of slave continued for centuries, but slaves were gradually replaced by wage laborers and serfs when the Dark Ages set in. Theory and practice of Egyptian slavery resembled with the kind of slavery practiced in the rest of Africa. Today we admire the pyramids of Giza, which might never have been possible without slaves who entered slavery through birth, debt, punishment, voluntary servitude, war, and capture. Factors facilitating the manumission of slaves can be categorized as the increasing foreign involvement, growing urbanization, and the decline of the traditional guild system. Slavery in Greece was the reason why this civilization produced some of the most beautiful art, architecture, and literature. They were treated comparatively well in Athens, but the agricultural slaves in the countryside were at the mercy of their masters. The worst off were the mining slaves, whose lives were hard and short. Political and economic factors kept the institution running until, like Rome, the Dark Ages took over. Slavery in Africa was practiced from the prehistoric times to the modern era. Throughout the African continent, land was allotted to families based on their needs. The amount of land was determined by the number of laborers. Thus, more slaves meant more land. Atlantic slave trade made slavery central to the economies of many African states and threatened many more Africans with enslavement. As the humanitarian sentiments grew and economic interests shifted from agriculture to industry, the Atlantic slave trade stopped. But outlawing of slavery did not erase the pain and stigma of having been a slave for generations. The moment the slave resolves that he will no longer be a slave, his fetters fall away. He frees himself and shows the way to others. This quote by Mahatma Gandhi could not be truer in a world where the chains are breaking and we are progressing towards a world of liberty, equality, and freedom from slavery.